Have you seen Star Wars?
After 13 years as Lucasfilm president, the trades are reporting that Kathleen Kennedy will be stepping down at the end of this year, 2025, and that Disney is looking for a successor, with many names being thrown into the race. I really never knew when this day would come, and I'm shocked that it's now. What's going to happen to all these movies that are in development, like Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy, or the Rogue Squadron movie, or Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie? They just announced a Simon Kinberg trilogy. It's clear that a lot of fans feel like this is the time for a changing of the guard and a new leadership at Lucasfilm, and the person who's going to be replacing Kathy will be key in the decision-making for Lucasfilm going forward. And one of the key factors to this is Alan Bergman, the film chief at Disney, and of course Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy are going to be involved in the decision of who's replacing Kathleen at the end of the year. And we're going to need to reflect on Kathy's career at Lucasfilm, and we'll probably do that more when she does step down, because looking back, it is a mixed bag, and that deserves some nuanced opinions in my take, honestly. Lucas hired her to make the sequels before selling it to Disney, so she was under the impression back in 2012 that she would make these movies with George. Then he sells the company that year to Disney, and they tell her she has 3 years to make 5 movies. That's a lot of pressure. That's not an easy spot to be in. But it's been 13 years now. We have a lot more to look back on, and the benefit of the doubt has weighed off, on my opinion. 4 of the movies made over $1 billion in the box office under Kathy, but Solo bombed, and every single movie that was made had trouble productions, delayed releases, firings, and all that stuff. We've had so many projects that, according to Kathy herself, have simply been shelved. That's one of the interviews she gave years ago when she said things like Rian Johnson's trilogy, the Rogue Squadron movie, Patty Jenkins, Taika Waititi. All that stuff has just been shelved. Doesn't mean it's not happening. But now that we're getting a new Lucasfilm president, are they even going to continue these projects? And Kathy has a weird history of second-guessing a lot of her decisions. It seems to be confirmed even more so in this new report from Puck News, who broke the initial report, and they say, ask a top creator about their experience working with Lucasfilm, and you'll likely get an earful. Unclear direction, paralyzed decision-making, extreme aversion to creative risks, yet also slavish devotion to a fan base that has become increasingly toxic, not great. And it's impossible to deny that Star Wars right now is in a very fragile state, as fans feel like it's very discouraging to be a fan right now. A lot of the storylines over the past years have never panned out or end in very disappointing ways. One of the big examples is Darth Maul at the end of Solo: A Star Wars Story. Nothing ever came of that. So in 2025, the Star Wars brand feels a bit broken. In my own experience, I know a lot of Star Wars influencers and journalists who have been into the brand, reporting it for over 10 years. They've faded away. The past 5 years since the movie stopped, it's been different, and it is time for a change. But my big concern is, of course, what comes next? We have a lot of projects in the works over there at Lucasfilm. There's like 7 movies in different stages of development. Will the next Lucasfilm president even want to continue all of these Star Wars movies? If, and it's a big if, Kathy does leave Lucasfilm, she will be doing something similar that George Lucas did to her. When he left Lucasfilm, he got the ball rolling on the sequel trilogy and new movies and stuff like that, and then he handed it to Kathy to run. Kathy might be doing the same thing here, getting a lot of these movies into development, getting them the starting stages, and then the next Lucasfilm president will just have to continue to develop it so they can have an easy time building some momentum in the brand. Mando and Grogu has already finished filming, so if the new president is announced in April of this year or joins at the end of this year and at the beginning of 2026, they have a new Star Wars movie that they can just immediately launch and then follow that momentum. Of course, the big question is, who's going to become the 6th Lucasfilm president? Yes, there have been 5 people who were Lucasfilm president before whoever's going to become. There's 4 people before Kathy. She's only number 5. So who will be the 6th? And the reports do vary a lot. Some mention Kevin Feige, but that's a mixed bag based off of the recent Marvel projects that have released. Favreau is one of my top choices, but some insiders are saying that he would not want to do the business side, but stay on the creative team of Lucasfilm. Filoni, of course, is a fan favorite choice in the fandom, and even the Hollywood Reporter is saying that one source believes that Disney has already picked him, but no other sources have confirmed that. Some even say that it would be an awful choice due to his lack of experience and that he's going to get killed on both sides. J.J. Abrams was mentioned as well, and I'll be honest, that one probably wouldn't upset me as much as a lot of other people. I think that would be an interesting choice, but we got to keep some of these small details in mind too. Nothing is really official. Both Variety and CNN have sources that are saying a lot of this news is not true. Both are saying that this is pure speculation and no one has been picked up. No one has been told that Kathy is retiring or anything like that. There's nothing finalized until the I's and the T's are dotted. So we really don't know. Kathy could stay Lucasfilm president for another year or two. And I think that would make a lot of sense. You would put the next Lucasfilm president in a very particular situation where you have, what, 5 to 11 movies in development at the moment, and then they're either supposed to continue it and not have a lot of faith in it, or maybe have faith in it and continue. But it just seems like a weird situation to be in. You have so many films that are in development loosely, and maybe you're not that committed to them, or maybe there's not a lot of interest in them. So why would you continue it? I don't know what to believe, but I always believed for a long time that Kathy would leave Lucasfilm on a high note. For a long time, I thought it would be Indiana Jones 5. If that had done well, if that was a success in the box office, I think she would have retired after that. But since it flopped, I feel like she needs a win. I feel like she's going to want to leave Lucasfilm on a high note. And I thought that the Mando and Grogu movie would release, and then maybe you get the Rey Star Wars movie. And if those both did $1 billion in the box office, then I could see Kathy retiring because she would want to leave on a high note. But at the end of the day, until we hear it out of the mouth of Bob Iger or Alan Bergman or Kathleen Kennedy, we really don't know what's going to happen. But this is a curious time in Star Wars history. With or without Kathy, at the end of this year, 2025 does mark the beginning of a new era for Star Wars. Next year, 2026, that is the new era. We're getting new movies. We're kind of done with the Star Wars television era. And it would be fitting to enter a new era of Star Wars with a new Lucasfilm president. And we'll probably find out more in April at Star Wars Celebration if this is true and Kathy is leaving. And if we don't hear anything, then maybe we won't hear anything for a while, and maybe she will stay on as Lucasfilm president. Regardless, always in motion the future is, and one day Kathy will leave Lucasfilm. But is that day today, or is that tomorrow? We might find out in Celebration, but comment your thoughts below. What do you think about these reports, credible reports, saying that Kathy is leaving, and who do you want to replace her as the 6th Lucasfilm president? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What's going to happen to all these in development projects over there at Lucasfilm, and what will the future of Star Wars be without Kathleen Kennedy? We'll find out in the future. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.